Invisible to influential, master social intelligence in 7 days. You walk into a meeting and nobody looks up. You share an idea and the room stays silent. You try to connect with people and the conversation dies. Meanwhile, someone else walks in and the energy shifts. People lean forward. They listen. Opportunities flow their way like water finding the easiest path downhill. What do they have that you don't? It's not charisma you're born with. It's not luck. It's social intelligence. And here's what matters. You can learn it. In the next 7 days, you can go from invisible to influential using a proven system that works whether you're an introvert, an extrovert, or somewhere in between. This audiobook is for professionals who are tired of being overlooked. You work hard. You deliver results. But somehow your contributions get buried while others get promoted. If you've ever felt like you're shouting into a void, this is for you. If you're done being the smartest person nobody listens to, keep listening. This is not for people who want quick tricks or manipulation tactics. We're building real influence through genuine connection. No fake enthusiasm. No scripted lines. Just a practical framework you can start using today. Here's what you'll walk away with. A system for reading people so you know exactly how to connect. Tools for making powerful first impressions that stick. Methods for handling conflict without burning bridges. And a clear path from being forgettable to being the person everyone wants to work with. Later in this audiobook, I'll give you the 2-minute version you can use immediately. Right now, just listen. No need to pause or take notes. There's a toolkit in the description with all the frameworks, a checklist, and the full 7-day plan. You can download it and use it when the timing is right. Let's start with the truth most people miss. Social intelligence isn't about being louder or more outgoing. It's about understanding how humans work and adjusting your approach accordingly. The problem and the real cause. Think about your last team meeting. You prepared. You had good ideas. But when you spoke, the response was lukewarm at best. Maybe someone else rephrased your exact point 5 minutes later and everyone nodded like it was brilliant. That stings. Or maybe you're at a networking event. You introduce yourself and the conversation flatlines within 30 seconds. You watch others effortlessly connect while you stand there wondering what you're doing wrong. Here's the reframe you need. You're not broken. You're not unlikable. You just never learned the operating system that runs human interaction. Most of us weren't taught this. Schools focus on technical skills. Get good grades. Learn the material. But nobody teaches you how to read a room, how to make people feel comfortable, or how to influence without authority. The system is misaligned, not you. Social intelligence is a learnable skill set. Just like you learned Excel or public speaking or project management, you can learn this. The difference is massive. Technical skills get you in the door. Social intelligence keeps you in the room and moves you forward. Here's a concrete example. 2 people apply for the same promotion. Both have identical resumes. One understands how to build trust, read emotional cues, and communicate in a way that makes others feel heard. The other is technically brilliant but struggles to connect. Who gets promoted? The one with social intelligence wins every time because organizations run on relationships, not spreadsheets. The invisible cost of low social intelligence is real. Missed promotions. Stalled projects, weak networks, and the constant frustration of knowing you're capable but feeling overlooked. That ends today. The framework. The system we're using is called the Influence Architecture Framework. It has 4 pillars. Each one builds on the last. Skip one and the whole structure weakens. Pillar 1 is inner foundation. This is confidence, self-awareness, and emotional control. You can't project strength if you're fighting internal chaos. Pillar 2 is reading the room. This is observation, empathy, and understanding what people actually need versus what they say they need. Pillar 3 is strategic connection. This is how you build rapport, make memorable first impressions, and turn brief encounters into lasting relationships. Pillar 4 is influence execution. This is where you lead, handle conflict, and build a reputation that works for you even when you're not in the room. Most people skip straight to pillar 3 or 4. They try to network or influence without building the foundation first. That's why it feels fake. That's why it doesn't stick. We're doing this in order. Each pillar has specific tools you can practice. You don't need to master everything at once. Pick one tool per pillar and practice it for 7 days. By the end of the week, you'll notice people responding to you differently. If you're driving or working out, just listen. The toolkit has the full breakdown of all 4 pillars and every tool we cover. You can reference it later without rewinding. Let's dive into the tools. Chapter 1 Tool Set, Inner Foundation. Tool 1, the Confidence Reset. Confidence isn't something you wait to feel. It's something you build through small actions repeated daily. Here's what most people get wrong. They think confidence means never feeling nervous. Wrong. Confidence means acting despite nervousness. The Confidence Reset is a 5-minute morning routine. Stand in front of a mirror. Shoulders back. Head up. Look yourself in the eye and say out loud 3 things you've done well recently. Not huge accomplishments. Small wins. Finished a report on time. Had a productive conversation. Stuck to your workout plan. This rewires your brain. You're teaching yourself that you're capable. You're collecting evidence against the voice that says you're not good enough. When to use it? Every morning before you start your day. Especially on days when you have a big meeting, a difficult conversation, or any moment where you need to show up strong. Here's an example. You have a presentation at 10. You wake up anxious. Instead of spiraling, you do the confidence reset. You remind yourself of 3 recent wins. Your brain shifts from threat mode to capability mode. You walk into that presentation calmer and more grounded. Your 7-day experiment. Do this every morning for 7 days. Notice how your internal dialogue changes. By day 7, you'll feel less like you're faking it and more like you're simply acknowledging reality. Common failure mode. You skip it because it feels awkward. The fix is to start with just 1 win per day. Build the habit first. Add the other 2 wins later. Tool 2, the pause protocol. Most people react too quickly. Someone criticizes them and they defend. Someone asks a question and they rush to answer. This kills presence. It makes you look anxious. The pause protocol is simple. Before you respond to anything, pause for 2 seconds. Breathe. Then speak. 2 seconds feels long at first. It isn't. It gives your brain time to shift from reactive to intentional. It signals confidence. People who pause before speaking seem more thoughtful and in control. When to use it? Anytime you feel pressure. In meetings. During conflict. When someone asks you a question you don't have an answer to. The pause buys you time and makes you look composed. Example. Your boss asks why a project is behind schedule. Your instinct is to defend or make excuses. Instead, you pause. You breathe. Then you say calmly what actually happened and what you're doing to fix it. That pause changes everything. You go from defensive to professional in 2 seconds. 7-day experiment. Practice the pause in low-stakes conversations first. When someone asks how your weekend was, pause before answering. When you're ordering coffee, pause before you speak. Build the muscle memory so it's automatic when stakes are high. Failure mode. You forget and revert to instant reactions. The fix is to put a small reminder somewhere visible. A note on your desk. A phone wallpaper. Anything that reminds you to pause. Tool 3, the energy audit. You bring energy into every room you enter. That energy is contagious. If you walk in anxious, people feel it. If you walk in calm and positive, they feel that too. The energy audit is a 60-second check-in before any important interaction. Ask yourself 3 questions. How do I feel right now? What energy am I about to bring into this room? Is that the energy I want to project? If the answer to question 3 is no, take 30 seconds to reset. Breathe deeply. Visualize the outcome you want. Choose the energy deliberately. When to use it? Before meetings. Before phone calls. Before walking into your house after work. Anytime you're transitioning from one environment to another. Example. You just got off a frustrating call. Your next meeting starts in 2 minutes. You do the energy audit. You realize you're bringing irritation into the room. You don't want that. You take 3 deep breaths. You visualize a productive conversation. You walk in neutral instead of negative. The meeting goes better than it would have. 7-day experiment. Do the energy audit before your 3 most important interactions each day. Notice how people respond when you're intentional about your energy versus when you're on autopilot. Failure mode. You skip it because you're too busy. The fix is to tie it to an existing habit. Before you open the door to a meeting room, pause and audit. Before you answer the phone, pause and audit. Use the transition as your trigger. If this is useful so far, subscribe, like, and turn on the notification bell. It helps more people find these audiobooks. Chapter 2 Tool Set, Reading the Room. Tool 4, The Observation Window. Most conversations are 2 people waiting for their turn to talk. You miss everything that way. The observation window is a deliberate practice of watching before engaging. When you enter a room or join a conversation, give yourself 30 seconds to observe. Who's talking? Who's listening? What's the mood? Are people relaxed or tense? Are they leaning in or leaning back? This gives you information most people never collect. You can adjust your approach based on what you see instead of barging in blind. When to use it? Every new social or professional situation. Meetings. Networking events. Even casual gatherings. Example. You walk into a conference room for a brainstorming session. Instead of jumping in immediately, you observe. You notice 2 people are dominating the conversation. 3 others look checked out. The energy is flat. Now you know. You don't add to the noise. You ask a question that brings the quiet people into the conversation. The dynamic shifts. People notice you're thoughtful. 7-day experiment. Use the observation window for every meeting you attend this week. Don't say anything for the first 30 seconds. Just watch. See what you learn. Failure mode. You feel awkward staying silent. The fix is to give yourself a mental task. Count how many people are in the room. Notice who makes eye contact with whom. Turn observation into a game so it feels purposeful. Tool 5. The empathy map. People don't always say what they mean. Someone says they are fine when they are clearly not. Someone agrees to a deadline they can't meet. Your job is to read beneath the surface. The empathy map has 3 layers. Layer 1 is what they are saying. Layer 2 is what their body language is telling you. Layer 3 is what they actually need. When to use it? Anytime something feels off. When someone's words and body language don't match. When you sense resistance but can't pinpoint why. Example. A coworker says they're on board with your proposal. But their arms are crossed. They're looking at the floor. Their tone is flat. You use the empathy map. Layer 1 says yes. Layer 2 says no. Layer 3 reveals they probably have concerns they are not voicing. So you ask gently if there's anything they are worried about. They open up. You address the concern. Now you have real buy-in instead of fake agreement. 7-day experiment. Pick 1 conversation per day where you apply the empathy map. Ask yourself what's happening at all 3 layers. You'll start seeing patterns you missed before. Failure mode. You assume you know what people need without checking. The fix is to ask open-ended questions. Instead of assuming, say something like, "What would make this easier for you?" Let them tell you. Layer 3. Tool 6. The Pattern Tracker. Social intelligence improves when you spot patterns. This person always gets defensive when you critique their work. That person lights up when you ask about their kids. These patterns are predictable once you notice them. The pattern tracker is a simple practice. After every meaningful interaction, spend 10 seconds asking what you learned about that person. What made them engage? What shut them down? When to use it? After meetings. After one-on-ones. After any conversation where you're trying to build rapport. Example. You have a weekly check-in with your manager. This week you notice they respond positively when you frame updates as problems you solved instead of tasks you completed. You write that down mentally. Next week you adjust your approach. Your updates land better. Your manager sees you as proactive instead of reactive. 7-day experiment. Track patterns for 3 key relationships this week. Your boss. A peer. A direct report or a client. See what you learn. Failure mode. You collect information but don't act on it. The fix is to write it down. Keep a simple note on your phone. Manager responds well to data. Client cares about speed over perfection. Use that information next time. Midpoint Recap. Let's pause for a quick recap. You've learned 6 tools so far. 3 for building your inner foundation. 3 for reading the room better. If you only do one thing from this audiobook, do the confidence reset every morning. It's 5 minutes that changes how you show up all day. But here's the bigger point. You're not starting from zero. You already have instincts. You already read people to some degree. We're just sharpening those instincts and giving you a system so you're not guessing. The second half of this audiobook covers how to connect strategically and execute influence. These are the tools that turn awareness into action. Keep listening now. The toolkit is there so you can revisit this without rewinding. Let's dive into strategic connection. Chapter 3 Tool Set, Strategic Connection. Tool 7, the 30-second intro. First impressions are made in 7 seconds. Most people waste them by being forgettable. The 30-second intro is a framework for introducing yourself in a way that sticks. It has 3 parts. Your name. What you do in plain language. And one memorable detail that gives people something to latch onto. Skip the jargon. Skip the job title unless it's self-explanatory. Give people something they'll remember. When to use it. Networking events. First meetings. Anytime you're meeting someone new and you want to be remembered. Example. Bad version, hi, I'm Sarah. I'm a senior analyst in the operations division. Forgettable. Good version, hi, I'm Sarah. I help companies figure out why their projects always run late and how to fix it. I'm basically a detective for inefficiency. Now you're interesting. 7-day experiment. Rewrite your intro using this framework. Test it 3 times this week in different contexts. Notice how people respond. Do they ask follow-up questions? That's your signal it's working. Failure mode. You make it too long or too complicated. The fix is to cut it to 1 sentence after your name. If you can't explain what you do in 1 sentence, you don't understand it well enough yet. Tool 8. The Curiosity Protocol. People don't remember what you said. They remember how you made them feel. The fastest way to make someone feel good is to make them feel interesting. The Curiosity Protocol is simple. Ask questions. Then ask follow-up questions based on their answers. Most people ask 1 question and move on. You're going 2 or 3 layers deeper. When to use it. Every conversation where you're trying to build rapport. Example. Someone mentions they just got back from a trip. Most people say, oh cool, where'd you go? And move on. You use the Curiosity Protocol. Where'd you go? What was the highlight? Would you go back? Now you're having an actual conversation instead of small talk. 7-day experiment. In every conversation this week, ask at least 2 follow-up questions before you talk about yourself. See how much more people open up. Failure mode. You turn it into an interrogation. The fix is to share something about yourself after their second answer. Keep it balanced. You're building connection, not conducting an interview. Tool 9. The Mirror Technique. People feel comfortable around people who are like them. The mirror technique is a subtle way to create that similarity. You match their energy level, their pace of speech, and their body language. Not exactly. Not like a parrot. Just enough to create harmony. If they speak slowly and calmly, you slow down. If they are high energy and fast-paced, you match that. If they lean back, you lean back a moment later. When to use it. Anytime you want to build rapport quickly. First meetings. Sales conversations. Difficult conversations where you need to lower tension. Example. You're meeting a potential client. They're reserved and soft-spoken. You're naturally loud and energetic. If you don't adjust, they'll feel overwhelmed. You use the mirror technique. You lower your volume. You slow your pace. They relax. The conversation flows. 7-day experiment. Pick 1 person this week to mirror consciously. Notice if they seem more comfortable with you than usual. Failure mode. You make it obvious. The fix is to focus on just one element. Match their pace of speech or their posture. Don't try to mirror everything at once. Chapter 4 Tool Set, Influence Execution. Tool 10, the Credibility Bank. Influence isn't built in a moment. It's built over time through deposits into what I call the credibility bank. Every time you keep a promise, you make a deposit. Every time you break one, you make a withdrawal. The tool is simple. Track your commitments. Do what you say you'll do. Even the small stuff. Especially the small stuff. When to use it? Every single day. This is the foundation of your reputation. Example. You tell a coworker you'll send them a document by end of day. You send it. That's a deposit. You do this 10 times. Now when you ask them for a favor, they say yes because you've built credit. If you'd forgotten to send the document even once, that credit disappears. 7-day experiment. Make 3 small commitments this week. Show up on time to a meeting. Follow up on an email you said you'd send. Return a call when you said you would. Track whether you keep them. Failure mode. You overcommit and can't deliver. The fix is to promise less and overdeliver. Say you'll have something done by Friday. Deliver it Wednesday. That's a double deposit. Tool 11, the Conflict De-Escalator. Conflict is inevitable. How you handle it determines whether you're seen as a leader or a liability. The Conflict De-Escalator is a 4-step process for turning tension into resolution. Step 1. Pause before you react. Use the pause protocol from earlier. Step 2. Acknowledge their perspective without agreeing. I see why you'd feel that way. Step 3. Reframe from me versus you to us versus the problem. How do we solve this together? Step 4. Focus on one specific next step instead of trying to fix everything at once. When to use it? Anytime emotions are high and you need to lower the temperature. Example. A teammate blames you for a missed deadline. Your instinct is to defend yourself. Instead you use the de-escalator. You pause. You say, I understand you're frustrated. Let's figure out what went wrong and how we make sure it doesn't happen again. You just shifted from blame to problem solving. The conflict de-escalates. 7-day experiment. Next time you feel tension rising in a conversation, use this framework. Notice how the other person's tone changes when you acknowledge their perspective. Failure mode. You skip step 2 and jump straight to problem solving. The fix is to always acknowledge first. People need to feel heard before they'll listen to solutions. Tool 12. The influence loop. Influence isn't one-directional. You don't just tell people what to do. You create a loop where they feel involved in the decision. The influence loop has 3 steps. Step 1. Explain the problem clearly. Step 2. Ask for their input. What do you think we should do? Step 3. Incorporate their ideas into the solution even if it's just a small adjustment. When to use it? Anytime you need buy-in. Anytime you're asking people to change their behavior or adopt a new process. Example. You need your team to start using a new project management tool. Instead of mandating it, you use the influence loop. You explain why the current system isn't working. You ask how they'd solve it. Someone suggests a feature the new tool has. You say exactly. That's why I think this tool could work. What concerns do you have about switching? Now they are part of the decision. Adoption is smoother. 7-day experiment. Use the influence loop once this week when you need someone to agree with you. See how much easier it is when they feel involved. Failure mode. You ask for input but ignore it. The fix is to always acknowledge what they said even if you can't use it. That's a good point. Here's why I think we need to go this direction instead. They'll still feel heard. The 2-minute version. If you're short on time, here's the fastest path to better social intelligence. 1. Do the confidence reset every morning. 3 wins. 5 minutes. This builds your foundation. 2. Use the observation window. Watch for 30 seconds before you engage. You'll read rooms better immediately. 3. Ask follow-up questions. Use the curiosity protocol to make people feel interesting. 4. Keep your commitments. Use the credibility bank. Do what you say you'll do. 5. When there's conflict, pause and acknowledge their perspective before problem solving. That's it. 5 actions. You can start today. No prep required. The 7-day Rewire Plan. Here's how to implement everything we've covered in 1 week. Each day focuses on one pillar of the framework. Day 1. Practice the confidence reset. Morning and evening. Get comfortable with the routine. Time required, 10 minutes total. Day 2. Use the pause protocol in every conversation. 2-second pause before responding. Track how many times you remember to do it. Time required, ongoing throughout the day, no extra time. Day 3. Do the energy audit before your 3 most important interactions. Notice how it changes the outcome. Time required, 3 minutes total. Day 4. Apply the observation window to every meeting you attend. 30 seconds of silence before engaging. Time required, 30 seconds per meeting. Day 5. Use the empathy map in one difficult conversation. Read all 3 layers. What they are saying, what their body language shows, what they actually need. Time required, part of existing conversation. Day 6. Rewrite and test your 30-second intro. Use it 3 times. Time required, 5 minutes to write, test during existing interactions. Day 7. Pick one person you want to influence. Use the influence loop. Explain the problem, ask for input, incorporate their ideas. Time required, part of existing conversation. This is exactly what the toolkit is for. Keep listening now, then download the checklist when you're ready to implement. The toolkit has every tool, the full framework, and tracking prompts so you know what's working. Closing summary. Let's bring it home. Social intelligence is the operating system that runs human interaction. Most people never learn it. They wonder why they're overlooked while others advance. Now you know the difference. The Influence Architecture Framework gives you 4 pillars. Inner foundation. Reading the room. Strategic connection. Influence execution. Each pillar has 3 tools. 12 total. You don't need all 12 on day 1. Pick 3. Master them this week. Add more next week. Here's what changes when you do this work. People listen when you speak. Your ideas get traction. Opportunities come to you instead of you chasing them. You build relationships that actually matter. And you stop feeling invisible. Thank you for listening. Subscribe, like, and turn on the notification bell. And check out the free toolkit in the description so you don't have to take notes. And share this with one friend who feels overlooked at work or in their personal life. Once they learn to read people and build real influence, they'll stop waiting to be noticed and start getting the respect they deserve. You're not invisible because you're incapable. You're invisible because you didn't have the system. Now you do. Go use it.